That was one Julius Randle, man. Julius Randle sat down with our guy, friend of the program, who does excellent work in John Krawczynski, who covers the Timberwolves for The Athletic. And, you know, John does a lot of these in-depth pieces on players. He did one on Karl-Anthony Towns just as he had left Minnesota last year after the trade. And he did one with Julius Randle as we are just about a year 1-year anniversary since the trade, the pre-training camp blockbuster that sent Karl-Anthony Towns here to New York and Julius Randle to Minnesota. That's first heard here on KnicksFanTV. And, but as Julius told John Krawczynski, man, his time here in New York was not all peaches and rainbows. Randle says here in The Athletic, he says, in regards to being in Minnesota, he says now he feels like he can breathe. It just feels very settled, is what Julius says. He says, I would say even this summer leading up to the season is probably the happiest I've been in a really long time as far as just career, family, and everything. And when he talks about New York, he says New York was an amazing time. It was a great place. I loved it. I had a lot of great moments there and great experiences and met a lot of great people and played a lot of great games. You get to play in the Garden, have all those experiences, but it also comes with a lot. It comes with a lot of different things, and it's a lot to navigate. And the article also says the isolation after he got hurt. You remember he got hurt. He had the ankle injury against the Heat. He said the isolation and the narrative about his performance took him into a dark place. He self-medicated with marijuana. He suffered from depression, anger, and anxiety in 2023. The league stopped testing players in 2023, so he was self-medicating. He says, at the end of that time, I was kind of at my darkest moment, just miserable, like in a way where I was just not having fun going to work every single day. What do you think, man?
Well, for one, Julius, today's weed ain't like yesterday's weed. It's way too strong.
Well, them THC doses be hitting,
that
man.
THC can really, plant you down in that sofa, and you're like, oh, shit, what's that sound? Oh, shit. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he was self-medicating. He obviously, we've talked about this before. He lives in his head a lot. He doesn't have the ability, like what Jalen was talking about before. You got to just forget. You have a short memory, right? Julius, no, it's all stored in there. And then he gets injured and he can't contribute. And he sees the team, could use him. He wants to be the man. He's been the man. He was the man on this team. It's frustrating. I could see all of that, and I feel for him. I kind of like, because I've been tough on him. I would just be straight with everybody. I was tough on him during a lot of the tenure here, especially the thumbs down stuff. He just operates on a different wavelength than most stars do. To be a star, you have to handle the bright lights, and there are no brighter lights in the world in sports than at MSG, especially with the media intensity as well, and with the whole negative BS that you get from ESPN in general for the Knicks. It's softened, in the past year or two, but you know how it was 5 years ago. It was atrocious.
Atrocious.
Hashtag LOL Knicks, all that stuff. That started from ESPN. So, and then Julius comes into this and he helped. He was instrumental in pulling us out of that darkness. But you could always see he wasn't quite mentally prepared for being the superstar. He has the talents to be it, but not the mental abilities. I remember when they had the guy on the sideline helping him.
Yes.
What was that whole thing? The
the
meditation guy or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he needed that. So now in Minnesota, it's much quieter. It's much quieter, much chiller. And he's got Ant. Ant is the obvious star there. And Rudy is kind of he's a big personality as well, and he's humongous on top of that. So he's in a better place where he felt everything was on his shoulders here. And honestly, I don't think Thibs made his life even easier as well, honestly. So I'm happy for him that he's in a better place now. It's sad that he went through that darkness while he was here in New York as a Knick. But I don't think that's indicative of everyone's players' experience as a Knick here, because we've seen there's tons of guys who love being a Knick. Johnny Starks, all these guys, they just love it. Latrell, they all love being a Knick. For Julius, he didn't quite have the right, I want to say this correctly, mental
temperament.
To handle it here.
Yeah.
And he came in at a tough time too. So it a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure on him, and it overtook him. And it's a bummer. And also, he probably smoked way too much weed. The weed is really strong now, man.
You gotta keep
I'm not even kidding about that.
THC to about 20-25%. You go in the 30s, you're tweaking.
You go over 30, you're
tweaking.
Man.
You're bouncing off the walls. Yeah. You gotta relax.
And you do that every night and you're not playing.
Yeah.
Imagine, and you're at home watching games, and you're like, stoned,
and then you go on, then you go watch KnicksFanTV and listen to a bunch of angry fans in the pack.
And you watch Into the Knicks verse, and they're like, "Where's Julius?"
Like, it can humble you, man. But
totally.
I'm with you 100%. With Julius, he really saw the two extremes of the fan base and the expectations. Like you said, he came in at the end of the dark ages and was part of the renaissance with the New York Knicks. Came in after a 17-game season, comes in, he becomes the most improved player. He's an all-star. He's all-NBA. He made all-NBA twice here, all-star 3 times. Like I said, most improved player. And so he got paid. And so Julius, when he became a Knick, he became the basketball version of a man. Like he really took on Storm and took the team on Storm, and became a beloved figure here. But like you said, the pressure, they're just like, when you do well here, you're treated like a king. When you don't, it can get really ugly for you. This is why we call it the heaviest jersey in the league, because everybody can't handle that pressure. And one thing is for sure, history repeats itself, man. Patrick Ewing, the same Ewing that's waving the towels in the playoffs and calling to the fans, he hated the fans on his way out of here. Starberry got booed. Melo got booed. And you know what? If they don't bring it home, maybe one day Brunson gets booed. I can't tell you it's not going to happen. It just might.
Yes. Great point. Great point. Patrick, Daryl, those guys, yes, you could see that the boost affected them, but they never turned on the fans. They just swallowed it. Maybe there was a slight little comment here and there, but Julius would go big time, the thumbs down. I mean, so then to deal with it, he turned to medicating, where, Daryl was doing blow. Yeah. But that was victory blow. He's, Daryl, who knows what Daryl could have had the greatest career of all time if it weren't for that stuff. But,
it's true.
So Julius just took a different route, and he's a dad, and he's got a son. Remember all that he was probably worried about how it might affect his son, if his son even heard about any of that negativity.
Yeah,
I would be worried. I'd be worried myself. He's cut from a different cloth.
Different cloth.
Yeah,
and and the thing is especially with today's athlete, this isn't the 80s and 90s where it's just you had two sources for your criticism. You had the newspaper, you had the radio, and maybe occasionally if you're out on the street, somebody might wild out on you occasionally. Now, with this 24/7 news cycle, you have 100 million apps that all the players are on. We're all in the same arena. We're all in the same arena. They're all on it, whether they want to admit it or not, whether they're on their personal accounts or a burner account, because they all got them. So they're all in these spaces with us, and they're seeing it, and they're checking it. They're checking it at halftime. They're checking it in the locker room. So it's hard to stay mentally focused in this whole thing. So that's why Julius had one. Jalen has one. A lot of these guys have sports psychologists to help them lock in, focus, handle the pressure, the money and the fame and all of that. Like, it's a lot that goes into it. So,
absolutely,
you know, I give him
and that's not a new thing.
Right.
Sports psychologists have been around since the 80s.
That's
90s.
right. That's
right. But you're right. Absolutely right. With social media, everyone has a voice.
Everyone
I
has
look
a
in the
voice.
chat. I look in the chat and I see someone like slamming me. You know, what am I going to do? Just let it go.
Right.
You know,
right.
but you know, if I'm Julius, I'm gonna, you know, it's like, no, you gotta just gotta let shit roll off of you.
Yeah. So, you know, listen, I give him credit how he handled it. Everybody handles the mental issues differently. He did his best here. He had a lot of success here, and it was just time. And as the article mentioned, I wanted to point this out in the article because, you know, when I had put the town stuff out there that summer, that when
you knew it all along.
Well, yeah, and we always get the naysayers, blah, blah, you don't got sources and all that, right? But one of the justifications from the distractors was, well, they're not at the date where he can negotiate the extension. And my reply to everybody was like, it doesn't matter. He's not coming back. They're not talking about an extension. He's gone. He's done. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that was the intel I got. I said, well, what about Julius? He said, well, Julius isn't coming back. This is probably going to go down by training camp. And sure enough, did. It was time. Both sides wanted to move on. It was time, man. Yeah.
It's like one of those things that really worked out well. You know, both teams benefited. We got the guy we needed. You know, he's not perfect. He's not
perfect.
You know, he's not perfect. And Julius is not perfect either. But both teams benefited from the trade. I wish we had been able to keep Dante. That's the one thing. But I'm you know, I really appreciate what Julius did while he was here.
Yeah.
And maybe it didn't come through, you know, in my nightly recaps and all that stuff because I get into the minutia of things. But in general, he was a part of the Renaissance, as you put it. And I will never forget that. Once a Knick, always a Knick.
Yeah.
When Julius comes back or whenever it is he retires, I hope he will be also one of those guys waving the flag, you know, down in former player celebrity row.
Yeah.
You know, 10, 15 years from now, because he definitely has a place in my heart because of everything he brought to this team.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's all love, never personal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Remember when his wife attacked us?
Yes. Yes.
We were part of that ugly chapter. I forget when I reviewed the article.
I was right there with you guys. Yeah, I remember that whole.
Yeah, she blamed us. She thought we were part of the mob. That's where the conductor thing came from, I think. That's where the conductor thing. I was like, lady, you know, I'm just a conductor here. I host the show for the fans, by the fans. I don't tell them to, you know, send you guys nasty grams and things of that nature. I don't even tell you to come on social media. I just do what I do in my arena, and that's that. But yeah, she was really pissed at me, boy. I didn't get it at the time.
Yeah. Like it was your fault that he was pushing Fournier aside when he was trying to calm him down. He's mercurial.
Yeah.
You know, and she should know her guy's mercurial. I'm sure she does. She was just protecting him, you know.
Yeah. She said I was the ringleader for the entire Knicks nation worldwide. I said, lady, I wish I had all that power. I'm just a
well, she's not too far off, bro. She's not too far off.
But you know, at that time, that was like 5 years ago. That's one of the
responsibilities that, you know.
Yeah.
We who get here in front of the camera and start talking about this, we establish tones, we react to tones, we can turn the tone, and that's why I started doing this. Just like I mean, you and JLs were my inspiration, along with Macri, and it's a part of it. So we got to take that too. You know what I mean? Like you took it like a pro when she came after you. You took it like a pro.
Nothing ever personal, man. It's all a business at the end of the day.